Morning. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about, war horses today. Yeah. The galloping kind. I won't do that again, I promise. The reason being is, received this in the mail the other day. Yeah. Some more horse, bar, red, plug pipe tobacco. And I got to tell you, I'm rather enjoying it. This is my, going on the second bowl. Really has when you open the can, it just hits you. A lot of anisette candy, I smell some flowery stuff in there, I guess, or I don't know, grassy stuff, something like that. But very, very, very nice smell. Yeah, I'm smoking it in the French Guinade pipe today. Reason being, and we'll get to that in just a minute or two. It'll have a little bit to do with, but I am Napoleon. Yeah, I won't do that again either. It's kind of fun though. Never mind. Uh, so getting on the warhorse subject, I might as well get this thing started. First famous warhorse, and yes, I'm reading notes today because this is going to be a little bit longer video since I skipped out on the Twain Winton Wisecracks Monday. This week's been really like in a hurry from the very beginning so far. My wife gets knee replacement surgery on May 18th, so we had a bunch of doctor stuff to do for pre-op surgery stuff before then. And so we missed a little Wit and Wisecracks. I'm going to try to sneak it in this week, but if I don't, hopefully Monday. So yeah, bear with me. Things are just a little busy right now, so anyway, back to the first famous warhorse really recorded, and that was a horse named, and I'm going to throw the word butcher card out here because I'm probably going to really butcher this. His name was Bucephalus, and he was Alexander the Great's steed. He was gifted to Alexander when Alexander was 13. He had him for quite a few years. Unfortunately, Bucephalus was killed at the Battle of the Hydaspes River. I'm sure I word butchered all of that, but if you need to, look up the proper spelling. Once again, that's Google. And that was during the Battle of that river in 326 BC, before Christ, in case you didn't know. And Alexander the Great treasured that horse so much that he named a town in what is now Pakistan after him, which would be, Bucephalus. I didn't look on the map to see if that town's still on the map, but who knows over in that area. Maybe it got blown off the map somewhere in between, the BC stuff and now. This is really tasty. Sasquatch Piper, I was watching a video of his last week, and he got some, and he doesn't like aromatics, but say you like this stuff, and I like aromatics, so it's very tasty, and you do get quite a bit of candy taste to it, which is, that rocks for me. So thanks Sasquatch Piper for kind of turning me on to this, but keep getting sidetracked here. We're, during this whole thing, speaking of sidetracked rabbit holes and the such, I was going to try to do something on like somebody's famous war horse, and then I was going to try to do something on a famous war horse that there was a picture of somebody smoking a pipe on, which I couldn't really find, which seems odd to me. But I did find some interesting facts about the two dudes that battled at Waterloo. Yeah, that being, I'm not going to do it. Napoleon and, the Iron Duke of Wellington, Lord Arthur Wellesley. Redcoats Return, tell me if I pronounced that right. Once again, word butcher. And, the Iron Duke was considered one of the greatest commanders of all time. He was a two-time prime minister. And the funny thing I found about him is there's a pipe, clay pipe, depicting an image of him that was very popular back in, I think, the 1850s. And it was of it had his head. I'm going to put the picture of it right there. And behind his head, there's a soldier going like this. And, or, well, as you might, like that. Yeah. I'm not going to do that again either. But, yeah, he apparently during the end of his life, and until the end of his life, he was like the head of the British Army. So he was the head of that for quite a long time. But towards the end of his life, he wrote a memo, or kind of he set down some rules. He pretty much, he compared pipes, cheroots, cigars, any sort of tobacco to be, like a tipple, a drink, whatever, an intoxicant. And he recommended that junior officers not be allowed to smoke it. He also recommended that the common soldier in their barracks apartments or other such buildings shouldn't be allowed to smoke it. And it's a pretty interesting statement that he makes about tobacco in general. So yeah, he got snubbed a little bit about that. I found that quite interesting. And once again, I was looking for his horse, who he had a famous war horse named, Copenhagen, one of my favorite tobaccos. And Copenhagen was famously at the Battle of Waterloo. And yeah, seems he was around. He was around with the Iron Duke for quite a while, up until his death, when they put him out to greener pastures, so to speak. And yeah, now his foe in the Battle of Waterloo. I need a smoke for this. Really like this stuff. Yeah, yeah. Nice smell. Nice smell. They said it's strong in nicotine, and I should watch it, but I'm not one to shy away from danger. So yeah, just kidding. Really, I should. Yeah, never mind. We won't talk about the lawnmower incident. But where was I? Oh yes, we're gonna go to Napoleon's horse now, which I did some research on. His name was Marengo. And here's a fun fact: there's a Marengo, Iowa, in the state which I live, and I poured 2 hog pits there a long time ago. So yeah, yeah. On with the show now. Uh, my laptop's playing games with me. He was Napoleon's famous war horse, and after the 1815 Battle of Waterloo, he was captured by the British, and he stayed there and resided in England until his death in 1831. So sounds like Marengo, even after the Battle of England, the British treated him well, and he lived lived to be a ripe old age. I don't know what that age was, but Napoleon. Here's where we're going. There's been a lot of pipes, figureheads made of Napoleon on pipes over the years. So I thought, maybe he smoked a pipe. And as I remember, a long while back, one of the famous pipe people that I did a thing on women-wise was Napoleon's mistress, and she smoked a pipe. So I was trying to delve into the whole Napoleon pipe smoking thing, and what I came up with is Napoleon. I believe it was, man, don't quote me on this, but because I didn't write it down, I just figured that out. But he closed his borders at some time during his reign to the purchase of foreign goods, and so that meant pipes, tobacco, anything. He thought that it should be made in his own country, and they should prosper from that. I gotta kind of agree with him. The Dutch, the famous Dutch pipes that everybody was in love with in France, they were banned, as was the Gouda pipe, which was a long clay pipe from the Netherlands. And what's really fun fact about that is the clay that the people in the Netherlands got, they had taken from northern France and southeast Belgium. So Napoleon basically said, let's keep our resources here and let's make our own pipes. Unfortunately, from what I did read, the French didn't quite make the clay pipe as well as the Dutch and the people. What do you call the people from the Netherlands? My people in Europe help me out a little bit here. But leave a comment and I'll try to tell everybody how I have no idea what they call people in the Netherlands. But anyway, I just thought that was a fun fact that it really increased the pipe making in France. And so maybe that's how we got down to the briar pipe here later on, in the 1800s. Or excuse me, the 18 and 1900s. So, but anyway, let's get on with some more horses here. One of my favorites here is the horse named Reckless. He was a Mongolian mare. He was very partial to scrambled eggs and beer, it sounds like. And in the Battle of Outpost Vegas, I found that interesting, in 1953 during the Korean War. In one day, he did 51 solo rides. I don't know what that means because at some point in that history thing, it says that he carried men to the front, he carried goods to the front, ammunition to the front, brought some wounded back. So I don't know what they mean by solo ride there, but it could just be, whatever the author of this article I read interpreted. But I did do quite a little bit of research on him. Pretty interesting because he was retired in 1954 with the rank of sergeant, and he died in 1968. Was again another war horse, lived to be probably up there in years. So I found that interesting. I really thought he was a cool horse, and there's quite a bit on him. Quite a bit of the battles he was in for that year or two period that he was in the Army, and he was a pretty big favorite of our boys. He was. This brings us to the next war horse that was, well, I just got to say, one tough son of a buck. Yeah. He was purchased by Miles Keogh, a captain of the United States Cavalry during the time of, let's say the Native American Wars, I guess. And during a lot of the battles that this horse went through with his owner, Mr. Keogh, he was wounded several times during the wars on the Great Plains, and he was a tough horse, and Keogh respected the Comanche a lot, so he thought they were very tough warriors, brave warriors, strong, and he named his horse Comanche in honor of them. However, unfortunately, Mr. Keogh, he met his demise long before Comanche did. You probably heard about everybody's heard about the Battle of Little Bighorn, where Custer and those boys, maybe got their due a little bit, but we're not going to get into that because that could start an argument. But during that battle, when his owner was killed, Comanche suffered 7 bullet wounds, returned to camp with arrows sticking out of what sounds like all over his body. And he was the only one out of his group of cavalry detachment, horses and humans, that survived that battle in 1876. And he lived, once again, tough old son of a he lived until, 1891, and he was given a full military burial. I thought that was pretty cool. So, Comanche, one tough son of a you-know-what. And I'm going to give some honorable mentions here. This video is about 15 minutes now. You guys have probably heard me ramble enough. And I kind of left this one for the end because I don't want to get into politics here. And there's a couple people here that somebody could probably get their panties in a bunch about. So we're just going to, but nothing to do with their owners. These were 2 great war horses. So let's put it that way. First is Traveler from Confederate General Robert E. Lee. And many battles, he was kind of an iconic symbol for the Confederate Army even. When you saw Lee, you saw Traveler. And, he was at the signing of the Treaty of Peace, I guess you could say, between us at the Appomattox Courthouse at the end of the war. And with that being said, we're going to go to, well, U.S. Grant's horse. Yeah, U.S. Grant, who put his pipe away, I did learn at a very young age because, well, he liked other types of tobacco, especially chewing. And then when the war came along, he was being sent so many cigars after he won his first couple battles that he took that up. At one point, he received 10,000 cigars in like a couple month period, and they said he could smoke up to 20 cigars a day, not mattering the size of them. And he did that for most of the rest of his life. And well, yeah, it killed him. But we're talking about his horse, and his horse name was Cincinnati. And Cincinnati rode through many battles with General Grant. Favorite horses of his lifetime, it sounded like. And well, he too, along with Traveler, was at Appomattox that the day that the Confederate Army surrendered. And all this stuff just thrown at you out there. I'm not going to do that again either, because I'm going to end this video. I'm going to give you a tip of the haberdashery and bid you an Oswego, and I hope you enjoyed the Warhorse thing. Pretty interesting history on, and the history between Wellington, Bonaparte, and just their history in general. Pretty interesting. So go read something on all this, and catch you in the next one. Have a good day.